G Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. And woo, is this going to be a fun block party because we are 1 week out, 1 week away from potential trailer territory. And what do I mean by that? We'll get into it during the podcast. But first, let me introduce you to my left hand on the G Show, the right hand when it comes to the Godzilla stuff. G73 Megalon Chase, my brother. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. My Rodan was cooked to perfection.
That's right. Gobble, gobble, happy, happy. Dude, we are literally a week out of this, as of this recording, Saturday, November 25th, or wait, am I lying? I might be lying. It's still the 24th. Still the 24th. We are a week away from the Tokyo Comic Con. Something that I've never heard of before, first off. I gotta be honest. Never heard of a Tokyo Comic Con. But I'm excited nonetheless because last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, Godzilla disappeared off of that Monarch Science website, or a little app thing. And it's not the first time that that's happened, but it's the first time it's been publicized. And you know all about that because you're the one that brought that to my attention. You put it up on the G-Show page. And I'm sitting there like, but Godzilla's done this before. But you were the one like, no, but dude, they're publicizing it. And from there, our hearts swelled up because there has to be some sort of meaning behind that. And I was super excited, but I think, you were just as excited. And I just want to know, like, when that happened, not when he disappeared, because we've seen that several times already, but the fact that Legendary pointed it out. What was the first thing that ran through your head?
That the part of Godzilla's marketing is going to start taking off here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
It really was just basically the spark to set everything of ignition, It was, if you will, you could say that it was the start of the charge up to the atomic pulse.
I love it. Hell yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's really all there is to it. I mean, really, it's basically start to getting the ball rolling. It's basically them saying, all right, this is about to kick off, which is, it's typical timing for stuff like this to start happening, around December and stuff. And Warner Brothers has quite a lot of stuff coming out in the next couple of months and stuff. So,
yeah,
it's a good time to start marketing what they're dishing out.
I agree. And what better place to do it than Tokyo Comic Con, the home of Godzilla, Tokyo, Japan. And honestly, I think it's so genius on Legendary's part, the marketing part. For the fans, I think it's fan service, Like, I totally love this idea. Now, let me just say real quick. We're not 100% sure that we're going to get a trailer drop. We're not 100% sure. But we're goddamn 99.99999% sure we're going to get a trailer drop. Because what better place to do that, again, than Japan? And one of the things that is really hitting me, like, one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this is if Legendary is going to Japan to drop a trailer, they are encompassing Japan, whereas maybe Japan might have felt left out with the promotion and the marketing and just the movie 2014 in general. I'm not, and this is by no means me saying this is a fact. This is just my speculation. But I do not recall there being such a marketing push for Godzilla 2014 that what I'm seeing now with some kind of showing at the Tokyo Comic Con next Saturday, December 1st. So I really do appreciate what Legendary is doing here. I'm just, I'm super excited. I mean, what about you, G73? You appreciate what they're doing here? Do you think this is a smart move?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's basically time, for Toho and Hollywood to basically put down their differences with what happened with what happened with G98. I feel like they now need to kind of, hug it out and realize, like, look, you guys created Godzilla, and the American culture has adopted it to a huge fandom, and it's time to unite, because if there's, they realize that there's a lot of money to be made here. And the marketing on Japan's side for 2014 happened towards like 3 weeks before it was released in May when it came out. So it was like really sketchy. But with that being said, 2014 didn't release in Japan till I think a month after it launched in the United States. But still, that's way, way late. That's late marketing. I mean, it still did well over there, but it's just, I do think now, with them basically being a partnership, which, with Toho and Hollywood being a little bit of a partnership now, I think it is a smart move for them to unite and start marketing on both spectrums, because I remember there being a release schedule that was posted for Godzilla, and I guess in Japan it also gets released the same day as it does in the United States.
Oh, that was going to be my next question to you. Thank you for answering that using the Force.
No worries.
So that's dope, because I was going to ask you, you're my go-to guy with all this. I was going to ask, are we going to have like a universal release date? That we get it, Japan gets it, our European nation gets it, like just a worldwide release date, because I think Godzilla would benefit from that.
Yeah, but the only shitty thing about that is that Finland and stuff like that, and like some other countries, they get it earlier. And when I mean earlier, it was saying like March, and that to me sounds, I don't know, that pisses me off a little bit.
March,
and that's the thing too. Like, it says March on the release, but I don't know if that's going to really happen, because that doesn't seem right. That's like 3 months away. And I mean, usually for movies, it's usually a month, so I don't know for sure if that's really legitimate, but for everything else, it says like the United States is the 31st, Japan's the 31st, some other places in Europe were the 30th. So that seems more reasonable to me. But there's like places like Finland and some other places, and they get it like March 30th. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, that's ridiculous. That's not fair at all. There's going to be Godzilla spoilers posted all over the place. And
yeah.
I don't want to be off the internet for 3 months, but if I have to, I have to. I just hope that that's not true. I hope that's not the case, because that just doesn't seem right. That sounds like a misprint, misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like maybe a misprint, because you said what, March 30th?
Yeah, sometime in March. I just remember it saying March.
Yeah, maybe it was supposed to be May 30th. It could be an absolute typo, so I'm not worried, but I agree with you, because if they do get it early, we do have to stay off the internet because of the potential spoilers, which would absolutely suck, but, it's what it is. But let me before we get into like what we might think, if it's going to be a trailer, what we might see, I want to touch upon something that also has been going around, something I think is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. And I know you know about this. The tweet from somebody who was actually watching the movie get scored.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He's a writer.
He's a writer. I don't know I forgot his real name, but I know him as Massaworm from Ain't It Cool News, when I used to follow Ain't It Cool News back like 10, 15 years ago, maybe. So this tweet has been going around talking about basically, we haven't seen nothing yet. I don't know what it was verbatim what he said. I know there was like, it's gonna blow your fucking brains out, something like that. But, dude, let me ask you. You read this now again. I've been reading this dude. Well, not recently, but I've read his work. Jesus, since like 2001, 2002, around in and around that area. And for a good 5 years solid or something around that time. But it's been a minute. But I know who he is. I respected his work from the past. I never, not liked the dude. I always thought he was legit about his stuff. And then I see this tweet by him, and I'm like, oh man, what is he talking about? Like, what are we going to get? Now, that being said, I also heard some stuff that we're going to get the Godzilla March. Can you confirm that? Can you say you've heard the same thing, or can you actually confirm that that's going to be in the movie?
Yeah, well, Mike Doherty said at Comic-Con that there's going to be the Godzilla's classic theme. Oh, and Bear McCreary is doing a whole bunch of other Godzilla songs and themes of his own twist on them in the movie as well.
Now, I'm looking forward to that. I also seen something this past week where he says that not only is the march in it, but apparently they're going to have like some kind of like orchestrated chorus, right? Like operatic almost, saying Godzilla's name.
That's gonna sound pretty epic, actually.
Oh, now because it brings me back to Shin Godzilla, and everybody knows, when this is not jump on Shin Godzilla right now, but everybody knows how you and I feel about Shin Godzilla. We're not fans, but the music is pretty freaking epic. I mean, I absolutely love Persecutions of the Masses. I think it's one of the greatest pieces of Godzilla music ever created. Or pieces of music put into a Godzilla movie, I should say, ever created. But then I have a problem with Who Will Know. I get it, but it still works, and if they're going to use, like, the classic theme and then throw in some kind of operatic chorus, oh, man, just stop the presses. Dude, it's even more fan service for us. I mean, I'm super stoked for that. What about you?
Yeah, it's like a fan service, but it's almost like a kiss, an extra kiss with a little bit of tongue.
So get ready, people. You better have your winter fresh gum. I love it. So let me ask you, this tweet, what did you take of the tweet?
So his name was C. Robert Cargill.
Okay.
And he basically said that he saw some scenes while the movie was being scored. And basically what he says at the end is that you guys are not fucking ready for the movie. His exact words. And he got a poster also from Mike Doherty. Mike Doherty sent him a special poster and autographed it. And so when I saw the tweet, I mean, whenever I see tweets like that, like, oh, I saw a screening of Godzilla, or, oh, I saw this or that, if the person that has posted it doesn't have that check mark by their name, I usually just discard it.
Right.
But because this guy is a verified person on Twitter, it makes me more excited because he's like, and he's a writer for movies. So I'm not going to at all say that there's no doubt he actually happened. This isn't a sham. He's not bullshitting. I mean, he indeed saw what he says he saw. I believe that 100%. And when I read that, it just made me more excited. I mean, I'm one of the people that firmly believe that when we got that trailer back in July, that was like basically the only trailer I necessarily needed for this movie. And with him saying that and just everything I've been speculating and thinking about with Godzilla, and him saying, like, you guys are not ready, I'm like, for one, excuse me, I am ready. I'm ready now. If Mike Doherty told me to get into the car right now and drive to Hollywood and I'll see the movie at 6 a.m. in the morning, I'll do it right now.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I'll go pick up G1 here and we'll go see it. it just made me more. It just made me glad and excited. I like the fact that this movie is getting so much positive feedback and response from the audience and stuff. I mean, it was the #1 most viewed trailer out of Comic-Con.
You know what? And it makes a lot of sense, though, for it to be the #1 most viewed trailer at a Comic-Con. And I don't mean this to slight Godzilla, because I love it. This is the podcast we're doing. But there was nothing from Marvel. There was nothing from Star Wars. There really was nothing from Disney at all. And I think people were kind of worried about the DC universe, the Aquaman and Shazam. But regardless, all that aside, the fact that Godzilla has gotten that push, Godzilla has gotten that reaction, because let's be for real here, it was the most viewed trailer at a Comic-Con, and it's been positive, the reactions, more than negative. It's not like 50-50. It's been literally, it's like almost 80-20. So that excites me in the sense that people are going to go see this movie because they are anticipating this thing.
Yeah. And that's what gets me excited. And the thing is I kind of like that divide. I kind of like that for once it wasn't Marvel being shoved down our throats.
Right.
Just because it's been like that for the past, several years?
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of nice giving something else that we love a shine, Like, Godzilla deserves a shine every once in a while. I wish Predator had a little bit more of a shine for what it was worth. But Shane Black, you put the nail in that coffin. But I'm glad though that Godzilla's getting its hype. And the thing is, the marketing for this movie has been just great. And I just feel like Legendary is taking their time with this movie. They're not making mistakes. I feel like they're very comfortable with what they're doing. They're very organized. I mean, yeah, Godzilla got pushed back a year, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that was a mistake, because that to me seems like it was for a better judgment. I feel like they're very confident in what they're doing. I mean, that trailer was a big piece of confidence. That was, with the music score and everything, that was a kind of a big ballsy thing to do. I mean, it's not something normal you get music from that style in a kaiju film, Yeah. And I'm glad that they're confident in their film, and it just feels like a breath of fresh air. I feel like this movie isn't going to have its complications. I feel like they set it all out. It's basically just an ongoing train track right now. And I'm happy with it. I'm excited. I'm glad with the way everything's turning out. And the thing is, with this marketing and everything starting to unfold in the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months, it's just going to be nonstop excitement, enjoyment, and speculation.
I agree. I like what you said. As far as the way they're handling the marketing right now, it's not slow out of the gate, right? Social media is playing a nice a part in it, but that Monarch Sciences site dude, I check that like every other day. It's such a good viral marketing thing. It's such a good way to keep us engaged, because let's be real here, I can't be the only one checking to see if another Monarch site opened up. Give me Skull Island. We know Kong is there. Just open it up just a bit. Give me like the first classified, like yellow or whatever the first classified section is. Things like that. It keeps bringing me back. And where's Godzilla now? And there he is. He's swimming by Skull Island. Oh, he's swimming by the Arctic with where King Ghidorah is at. All of this stuff really, really, really resonates with me, and I really appreciate that. So we got the trailer in July alongside of this the marketing campaign. I think that was out earlier, right? That came out before Comic-Con, right? The Monarch Sciences.
Yeah, and that's actually something I was going to bring up is the Monarch Science marketing thing for the Godzilla trailer. Remember a few weeks out, they were showing Godzilla swimming around San Diego.
That's right.
Well, so now if you check it, it shows him hanging around Japan water.
He was. Where was he at? Just recently, when he resurfaced, he was in the Sea of Ozhulk. I hope I said that right. I cannot.
Got him.
You know.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
But you know what y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Read a book.
Well, yeah, he went to the island that disappeared.
And I heard about that too. I just saw that today. Literally right before we jumped on this podcast. I was going through my Google feed and I saw this. What does this mean? And I clicked on it and I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, man, like it's perfect. It keeps the Godzilla fans engaged, like myself, because we want to see where he's at. We want to see if they open up anything else. We want to be in the know. And so far, I gotta be honest with you. So far, I haven't seen anybody like going crazy in regards to not liking what's going on. And right there, I think, and like you had alluded to that earlier, it's just a perfect way they're doing it. They're comfortable, I think is what you said. They're comfortable with what they have, and they know, all right, well, dude, we're already caught. Hook, line, sinker. They're just reeling us in right now. They're just reeling us in. And I gotta be honest, I don't mind jumping in that cooler. I do not mind. If I'm a fish, I do not mind getting in that boat because it's going to be something epic. And yeah, the way they're doing it right now, and again, fingers crossed, we're 99.9999999% sure we're getting a trailer next Saturday. A new one. I think it's just spot on, pitch perfect. Yeah, and I mean honestly, I have nothing. I can't rave about this enough.
To me, it's one of those things that it's one of those movies or one of those situations that the people that are going to piss and moan and complain about it are going to do it because they don't have nothing better to do in this situation. I mean, at this point, there's nothing really to complain about with Godzilla. I mean, that trailer that they showed us, what could you really complain about? Even if you weren't a Godzilla fan, I mean, you could just be one of those people that just hates Godzilla, period, and just be like, oh, it's Godzilla. Oh, they could just over dramatize it and just be like, oh, it looks dumb. But that takes a lot of more effort than to just watch it and just enjoy it for what it is. So I just think it's one of those situations. There's nothing really for people to complain about or nitpick about yet. I mean, I've seen some things about people being like, oh, maybe they showed too much. Or it's just like stupid over-exaggeration speculation. Like, oh, there's this one that I read where the creature in the ice cap wasn't King Ghidorah, and they were trying to explain why it wasn't, which was a little horse shit. Then there was one saying like, oh, that there's this other speculation. There's just stuff like that. But you're going to get that with any fandom. But for the most part, I haven't really seen anybody, griping and moaning about the movie. And it's nice for once, Now, you should just know, I mean, as we all know, once the trailers do start coming out for this movie and more gets shown, there's probably going to be some people that say some naysaying things, but that's just the nature of those type of people. But, in the end, those people don't matter because in the end, they're still going to go see the movie. Like you say every time, no matter what, people are still going to see the movie.
That's right. I didn't like Shin Godzilla the first time I seen it. Went back a second time. Didn't matter to me. It's Godzilla. I'm going to see it.
Well, just like Shin Godzilla. I only saw Shin Godzilla once. I can't say I saw Shin Godzilla twice. But.
Do you own it?
I do own it, yeah.
All right. but so do I. So do I. Well, regardless of how we feel, we do support what we love, and in all forms. So I take it in stride. I love Shin. No, let me rephrase that. I don't love Shin Godzilla, but I love Godzilla enough to own that movie, and I want to own this movie the way I believe this movie is going to own us, the G fans, because I honestly believe this movie is going to own us. And I'm going to tell you something, not speculating here, but a little bit of speculation. I think this trailer is going to give us shit we want to see and then stop. Like, I think it's going to tease us and it's going to get us even more hyped. I believe we're going to see Mothra. I believe we're going to see a little bit more of Rodan, but I definitely believe we're going to see Godzilla and King Ghidorah wrapped up. I think we're going to get that. But I'm worried on the same side of the coin, if we do see Godzilla and King Ghidorah wrapped up, I don't want that to be the money shot as far as the movie's concerned. I want it to be the money shot for the trailer, which means we never see Godzilla blowing up the Muto, like spitting the fire down its throat in the trailers, right? That was the money shot for the movie. The money shot in the trailer.
In the Japanese trailer, though, they did. They spoiled that right in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, see, I didn't even see that. So that sucks, you know? So thank you for informing me. Now I will stay away from the international trailers. for King of the Monsters. I'm not going near it. But like this is what I do believe we're gonna see more of the monsters. We don't even need to see Godzilla in this trailer. I'm gonna be blunt with you. We don't even need to see Godzilla in this trailer. We know
to be honest, saying that, like, I don't even want to see King Ghidorah. I want King Ghidorah to basically, if King Ghidorah is shown, I want it to be another silhouette, or maybe King Ghidorah breaking out of the ice. I don't want to see him actually like full glory, you know. Same with Godzilla. The monsters that I really kind of am going to be okay with seeing more of is basically Mothra and Rodan. You know, just because you pretty much see Rodan in its full glory, you know, in the first trailer.
A couple of times, yep.
Mothra is a little bit the same in some cases in the trailer. Godzilla, we don't really need to see, you know, but King Ghidorah is the one, like, if they're going to show King Ghidorah at all in any trailer, I want it to be the last final trailer. And even then have it be something where it's still not full reveal. You know, I want to be surprised. Or if they do it, save the best stuff for the movie, not put it in the trailer.
Like Kong Skull Island. You know what? I got to be honest with you. I do agree with you. I don't want to see King Ghidorah now. I don't want to see him. Because I think that is what is the driving force behind this. Right? You got a whole bunch of old school fans, people older than me, like, their curiosity is people like, wait a minute. I've seen this movie before, and they're remaking it. Kinda. It's the same monsters, right? It's almost the same premise. Not really. Kinda. Not really at all. But it's like, yes, it's for a new generation. And for the generation like us who's been around, we're just soaking it in. So, yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I don't want to see King Ghidorah right now. No.
I bet for one of the things that they're going to do to basically hype people up more, and it's going to be a thing, if you're not paying attention, you're not really going to understand, but I bet they show one of the unannounced monsters.
I was thinking about that.
That's going to be in place of a bigger character instead.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I was thinking about that. Okay, before I ask you this question, I think the way to portray King Ghidorah in this, well, first off, I don't want to see Mothra coming out of the chrysalis. I don't want to see that. If you're going to show me Mothra, show me Mothra, in her moth form. You know, I do not want to see her breaking out of the chrysalis. That's something I want to watch and enjoy in the theaters. Like you said, we've already seen Rodan. We've seen him busting out of the volcano. We've seen him flying over Mexico. We've seen him flying over Washington, D.C. We've seen Rodan. And we haven't seen his face. I want to see more of Rodan. I love her. It's my second favorite monster, right? King Ghidorah and Mothra, I do not want to see her bust out of the chrysalis. I want to save that for the theater. King Ghidorah, if they do tease us again with like a silhouette form, what they need to do is either a gravity beam or the cackle. They gotta give us.
The cackle would be ideal.
Right? The cackle would be ideal. Absolutely. Give us the cackle.
Like we've been saying, the screen goes black and you just hear it.
Oh, come on! Ended right there with the boom title. Because here's the deal. I saw something the other day and I was like, damn, man. I ain't mad at that. They was like, what if Godzilla ain't the king of the monsters and they talking about King Ghidorah? I'm with it. You hear the cackle as the screen goes to black and then boom, Godzilla, king of the monsters. I'm done. Say no more. Then I don't need to see nothing until the movie. 5 times in a row, I'm taking off. Wait, I don't even work. School will be over. I work at a school. School will be over. I got nothing but time. I'm in. That would be fucking phenomenal.
It's funny you bring that up because last night I was like, man, I'm really gonna see Godzilla as many times as I can, and when it comes out. I was saying that last night, and I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it opening day. I'm gonna see it twice the next day, and I'm gonna keep going and going and going until I'm just absolutely
until the Blu-ray comes out. All right, until the Blu-ray comes out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. All right, so my question to you now is when you brought up another monster, I do not think that is far-fetched. I think that you are on the right track because I thought the same thing. My question to you, though, is this. Is it a monster that is popular amongst the fandom? Easily recognizable to the fandom? Or is it a monster that could possibly, like, for instance, could it be something like a Kamacuras or a Kumonga? You know what I mean? Something insectoid.
What you're definitely saying, I think about it all the time, but there's so many scenarios I come up with because we don't know exactly yet what's going on for Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
I go back and forth because I see it happening several ways. Like, one of the unknown monsters or 2 of the unknown monsters, it could be 2, it could be twin monsters again that Godzilla has to go up against, or, a mate and a female, I just don't, I don't know. It could be completely, original monsters that we haven't seen before and they're just new to the Godzilla universe. If it's true what they're saying, or not what they're saying, but if it's true that, they may have gotten new monsters from Toho's roster, I mean, that can be a whole can of what ifs.
I'm just saying that Rodan, Aztec-looking Rodan, that looks like Gigan in the picture.
Yeah.
You can't change my mind. I don't care. Don't give me no, that's just some, ancient Mayan in a headdress. Nope. That's Rodan. I mean, Gigan. That's Gigan. That's all I'm saying. That's Gigan.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I have no clue what these... Because here's the thing, the way I think about it. If these monsters are just... If you show these monsters and they're not important monsters, but you show them in the trailer, nobody knows who they are, and you end up showing them in the movie and they just get killed off as cannon fodder, it's kind of like, why? What's even the point of wasting, $10,000 on a CGI monster when you could have made Godzilla fly?
Do not open that can of worms, brother.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that if they do show an unoriginal, like they show a new monster that we haven't seen before, and it is in the trailer, I bet you 100% that that's probably going to be a monster we will see also in Godzilla vs. Kong. I just don't think the monsters, the unknown ones, are going to be cannon fodder, because I don't think that's a smart thing to do. I don't know what would even be the point. I mean, I guess you could do them for like flashbacks, or you could have basically an introduction scene, like Godzilla pops up and he just offs this monster to basically show who's boss and be an audience shocker. I guess you could do that, but it's almost like, it's kind of like, I mean, do we really need to see that? So, I mean, I go back and forth, like what these unknown monsters could be. But I think if they, like, I do think they might be the things we see in Godzilla versus Kong, just because I don't think that King Ghidorah will live. I'm kind of on that fence. I know you're different.
Oh yeah, we fight on that one.
Yeah. I don't think King Ghidorah's leaving the battle scene alive. I do think that it's going to be different in Godzilla versus Kong, but I'm not sure though, because also I've been paying attention to Godzilla versus Kong's production and the photos they've been posting.
Right.
And it just makes me curious because there's some characters that are returning. Like, for one, Millie Bobby Brown's returning, and we knew that. But I'm wondering for what connection is she returning?
I think it's a Mothra connection. That's where I'm putting my money on.
So then Mothra doesn't die in Godzilla King of the Monsters.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. I really am.
And I'm okay with that too, but that's just another thing. That's a speculation. And the thing is, I think the more that we think about this, I think Godzilla versus Kong really is going to be Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, but they're just calling it Godzilla versus Kong. Honestly, I don't know. There's just, already with you having Mothra involved in Godzilla versus Kong, or if Mothra doesn't die and does make a return, that's already Mothra being involved with two of the monsters, So, it's kind of like there would have to be another point for Mothra to be there. So is Mothra going to fight Kong and Godzilla?
I'm messing your head up right now. I'm going to mess everybody's heads up right now. You know what they're doing? They're revisiting Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Okay? Remember, that movie was supposed to be for King Kong, right? That movie was supposed to be for King Kong. So now it's Kong versus Godzilla, who Godzilla is now taking the place of Ibra, the horror of the deep. And if you remember, Mothra is in that movie. That's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. Case solved, puzzle solved. We out of here. We're done. Peace.
Well, now you spoiled everything. Now you need to see Godzilla 2.
God, I can't believe it. Rodan, dead. Ghidorah, dead. Oh, God. No, seriously. But if that does come to pass, I will never podcast again. Matter of fact, I'm shutting T-Show things out.
Ray's not fun to podcast with anymore. He spoils everything.
It's all shut down. It's all shut down. I am not putting my money on that.
Another thing why I think King Ghidorah doesn't live was because O'Shea Jackson, he was the way he hyped up a while back Godzilla and King Ghidorah fighting, he made it sound like someone's not leaving the area alive. And so I don't think, that's why I also don't think King Ghidorah is going to live with it, because you can't hype up this epic battle and King Ghidorah leaves. I mean, if King Ghidorah is going to leave, he's going to leave at least with one less head.
I agree.
He's gonna be, if this is an epic battle like he's hyping, where the way they fight, you guys wouldn't believe. You would blow you guys away. You can't have King Ghidorah survive that with no wounds or damages to his body. I mean, there's got to be something to it. Like, and I could see that. I could see King Ghidorah living, but without one with a head being gone or something like that. But I mean, that's the only way I see it. So I'm on the little bit of the fence though, because it's like I don't know. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on. So when talking about the unknown monsters, I mean, obviously, I feel like those monsters are going to have a big connection. Like I just don't see them being cannon fodder.
I agree with you. I don't see them being cannon fodder unless we get more Mutos, like different Mutos. Then I'm saying those are cannon fodder. But if it comes down to Toho created creatures, kaiju, right, that they get, for instance, Gigan. I'm going to use Gigan as my reference point because you brought up O'Shea Jackson. O'Shea Jackson brought up Gigan. why the hell would he bring up That's one of the worst Godzilla movies ever made. That's just my opinion, but let's be for real here. It's terrible. I hate that movie. I think Gigan was in a better movie when it was called Godzilla vs. Megalon. Fight me. But, seriously, so when he brought Gigan up, and then you see that picture, and you're like, it becomes more of a factual thing in a speculative way. Yeah, that made no sense, but y'all get the gist of what I'm trying to say. It is not out of the realm of possibility because the name drop, the picture, I mean, it looks like Gigan. It just makes sense for Gigan to be there. So I'm going to use Gigan as an example. If Gigan... Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that also makes me think that they're important monsters is because Mike Dougherty brought it up himself. You know, he said that himself at Comic-Con. Like, there may be some other surprises.
Right.
If they're unknown creatures, they're not really going to be surprises. They're just going to be like, oh, okay, they're there, cool. You know? Uh-huh. So, if they're going to be surprises, they're going to have to be known, wouldn't you think?
Especially amongst the community. So, yes, that's why I believe Gigan's going to be in this. 99.9999. Like the trailer next Saturday. Well, maybe 96%. Maybe 96% Gigan. I'm going to go 96.
I mean, at this point, it's basically a big can of worms that we just have to pick through to find that big worm, and we got to use it for fish bait.
Hey, listen, man, we got Rodan on outside, right? Birds eat worms. So...
like in G98 when he goes fishing and catches Godzilla out in the ocean.
I still love that scene. I don't care what nobody says. I
do too. That's like my favorite scene. Well, one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
That poor man, he screams. I think, oh, I felt so bad for him. But anyway, I felt bad for a lot of people because of that movie. But nah, so using Gigan as a reference as far as a Toho kaiju, right? Because I can use Anguirus, I can use Manda, Kamacuras. Manda's actually a good one, and I'm gonna say why Manda's a good one to use, because Manda's a sea serpent, and one of those monarch sites is up in the northern Scotlands near Loch Ness. So that's not out of the realm of possibility either. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be such a cool little like Easter egg nod. Manda's the Loch Ness Monster type of deal. I would go crazy. I don't know if they're going to go that far. But as a fan speculating, that would be something I would go absolutely gaga for. But again, using Gigan, if it is Toho Kaiju, I don't think it's canon fodder. Because if it is, then it becomes Godzilla Final Wars. And I think... right? But am I lying?
No, you're absolutely right.
Right, and I don't think that's the movie Mike Dougherty and Legendary set out to make. I don't think that's the movie Gareth Edwards had in mind when he made Godzilla, because he was even saying, eventually I want to lead to destroy all monsters. What? Like, that's what he said. And that's what it seems we're getting, right? Which is why...
Exactly. Which also makes me think that it's not stopping with Godzilla vs. Kong. I think that they are going to unravel a universe. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're going... It's a monsterverse. I think they're literally going to open up a world full of monsters. And, like, maybe not, like, as many as we think, like, thousands of them. But, I mean, like, maybe a couple... even just 5 more monsters. That's still a ton of monsters they could use, and I think that eventually it will come down to something like an actual destroy all monsters. You know, I just don't think it's stopping there with Godzilla vs. Kong, or at least the plan is not to stop with Godzilla vs. Kong, but they can end it to where it can be like a yes/no situation. You know,
which is why I don't believe King Ghidorah dies in this movie. This is why I believe King Ghidorah will be the big bad in Godzilla vs. Kong. You're not going to have Godzilla vs. Kong and one of them die. One of them are not going to kill the other one. It's not going to happen, right? They need a big bad.
I just want to say that at this point here, it can't be a monster verse and you have Godzilla kill Kong or Kong kill Godzilla, because then at that point, if you kill Godzilla, it's basically a King Kong franchise.
Right.
And King Kong wins. You can't do that. And if you have Godzilla win, I mean, yeah, I guess. But the thing is, there's no point in making, Kong is his own entity. And that's like basically having Superman kill God. You can't just do that.
I still love that meme that's went around a while ago with Kong and Godzilla, and they're like, Mothra, why'd you say that name? Oh, yeah. God, so
John Campia made a joke about that actually the other day on his little video he did, and I'm excited because he's been hyping up Godzilla versus Kong and Godzilla and stuff, and he's all excited and stuff, and that's great.
Yeah, but remember that dude's not out of the realm. Like, we're in and about the same age, me and him, and we grow up on that stuff. We grow up on the show era. That's that's another thing. Like, what we're getting right here is basically a remake, and I'm not saying it like that, but it is like a remake of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. And I said Ghidorah instead of Ghidorah because the American release was Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, right? We're getting a remake of King Ghidorah. Look at the monsters that are featured as of right now. Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan. And that movie is regarded as one of the show's best. That's right up there with Godzilla versus Mothra. I've been watching
Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and Invasion of Astro Monster back to back for the past couple nights.
Oh man, Invasion of Astro Monster is still one of my favorites, but still, you know. But and that's one of the reasons why I don't think Ghidorah dies in this, because again, Godzilla fought him three times, because you got to count Gigan, right? You got to count Gigan, even though it came after Destroy All Monsters. Continuity wise, it didn't, because Destroy All Monsters took place in 1999, right? Whereas Gigan took place in 70 something, right? Which is kind of crazy when you think about that. But that's how the timeline jumped. It was just we're gonna make Godzilla the end right now, but we're still gonna continue the Godzilla saga. You know what I'm saying? And that was exactly. It was just a cool move by them. That's not what they're doing here. That's not what I'm saying they're doing here. What they're doing here, though, is this is a love letter to the show of movies. The way Gareth Edwards made a love letter to Jaws and Steven Spielberg with Godzilla 2014. And again, I understand everybody's gripes when they say, oh, Godzilla wasn't in that movie. I get it. You're angry. I love that movie. I felt everything. The only part of that movie I was upset to was Bryan Cranston dying and that second tease. That second tease was unnecessary. The Hawaiian tease was cool. I was all right with it. But when the doors close, when Godzilla grabs the male Muto in San Francisco, is about to smash him into the building, and then it's the drop, which is a great scene still. That was unnecessary in my book. But I think this is more of a love letter to Toho and those movies. And that's why I honestly believe, this is not the end of King Ghidorah. This is not. I don't want to see Rodan. I don't want to see anybody die. Right? I don't want to see any of the main creatures we know die. But then it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Cannon fodder. Do I want to see another Toho kaiju get it? Not really, unless it's a Kamacuras or a Kumonga type of creature. Don't bring in Anguirus. Don't bring in King Caesar. Don't bring in Gigan and then just kill him off. Don't have Manda be the Loch Ness Monster and then just kill it off. That would be okay, to be honest. But still, only because the Loch Ness Monster has been ingrained into our psyches for as long as we've been alive, if you follow that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, King Ghidorah, again, still, King Ghidorah lives. You may disagree, and that's fine. That's it's always a great topic of conversation. And again, we don't know until we see it.
But see, going back and forth about it, it also makes me think about the possibilities of Ghidorah living. And I just remembered that there's a while back they were saying that Godzilla versus Kong starts immediately after Godzilla 2, like the event. So I'm thinking that, I mean, it's a bit, it's a highly big possibility that it basically just, maybe Godzilla versus Kong is part 2,
That's what I was thinking.
But also, why would you, here's another thing too I was thinking of, if you were going to kill King Ghidorah, why hype up that monster to be this big, bad monster just to kill it off in the end, So that's another thing that I was thinking about.
Godzilla, in the end of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, correct?
Yeah. Because, King Ghidorah is the big secret right now. That's basically the hidden layer of chocolate in the cake. So why would you just have him die off in the end? Because that's basically, overstuffing yourself there. So that's another thing. I mean, I go back and forth. King Ghidorah living, King Ghidorah dying. So who knows, man? It's a big this whole universe thing. It's exciting, and we could talk about it for hours and hours. But it's like what's going on? Okay.
So I'm gonna throw out this tagline for Kong versus Godzilla. Who is king? And that's where I go crazy, because you got 3 kings in that movie. You got King Kong.
Or just Godzilla versus Kong, Battle of the 3 Kings, or something like that.
Something like that. Because I get excited. Come on, let's be for real here. I'm okay with Kong Skull Island. I didn't think it didn't blow me away the way I wanted it to, but I'm okay with that movie. I enjoy it, and I enjoy the world building, right? Which there's a question that I'm going to ask you in a minute that revolves around events that happen in Godzilla and Kong Skull Island. But before I get to that, I enjoy the world building. I enjoy what we're getting with Godzilla King of the Monsters as far as world building goes. We know Godzilla vs. Kong is in production. We've seen the pictures. That movie's happening. It's not even a question anymore. It's not a question about, is Godzilla 2 going to make its money? No, this movie is in production. We're all happy about it, right? But come on. How crazy, because we've never seen it before. How crazy would it be to see King Kong trying to fight King Ghidorah? I mean, think about it. He's agile. He can jump around, grab it. The way we can use special effects today is mind-boggling. Him jumping, trying to grab 1 or even 2 of its necks, trying to rip. One of Kong's finishing moves is the damn jaw rip. He does it in every single movie. He's done it in the original 33 Kong. He's done it in the 76 Kong. He didn't do it in King Kong Lives because there was no other giant monster. But he did it in Peter Jackson's Kong, and he did it in Kong Skull Island. And if I'm not mistaken, no, he didn't do it in King Kong versus Godzilla because there was nothing he fought. It was a giant octopus. But the fact that he did it to Gorosaurus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And King Kong escapes. So that's one of his moves. Could you imagine? I want to see that. Because here's the deal. Remember, Godzilla's still going to be a bit taller than Kong, right? A bit. I don't think they're going to be eye to eye. Right? But King Ghidorah...
It's hard to imagine Kong being bigger or as big as Godzilla. I think Kong's just going to be big enough to take on Godzilla.
Which means that King Ghidorah is still bigger than Kong. Could you imagine? That's what I want to see.
It would be like Kratos going against Kronos.
Right? Or the Hydra.
Yeah.
It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. And I swear to God, I believe Legendary gets that. I swear, I believe they get it. These are fanboys. These aren't just people. And I get the beef with Aaron Taylor Johnson. Oh, I did it for a paycheck. That sucks. But you had like Bryan Cranston talking about, man, I love those Godzilla movies when I was a kid. I love them. And it showed in his performance. It showed. And that's my biggest gripe with the first Godzilla movie. Well, mother. But so that brings me to my question to you. In 2014's Godzilla, Bryan Cranston died. Big name, right? He gets off. Kong Skull Island, John Goodman dies. Oh shit. Gets eaten by the skull crusher or whatever, skull crawler.
The skull crawler.
Right? Who dies in Godzilla King of the Monsters?
Sarazawa.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. I don't want to say it. Don't say it.
See, I don't know. I mean, I know Sarazawa hasn't been, like, Ken Watanabe hasn't been mentioned for Godzilla versus Kong,
right?
Or Sally Hawkins, I think, is that her name?
Yes.
She hasn't been mentioned. Kyle Chandler at one point was mentioned to return for Godzilla vs. Kong, but he hasn't been mentioned since, so I think that kind of was a leak, and they're kind of keeping it quiet. I know Vera Farmiga is not mentioned to return. I mean, you got Charles Dance in Godzilla 2. He's not being mentioned. I mean, I expect him to die. I don't expect Charles Dance to die. I don't, because I think he's the leader of the conspiracy group trying to attack the kaiju.
Do you think he's do you think he's Loki?
Loki?
Well, from Kong Skull Island.
No, I don't. I don't, because you know how old. Like, I don't know. It wouldn't make sense for James Conrad to be. I don't know, because look. James Conrad was basically a supporter of Kong, towards the end of that movie. And for him to go against that in Godzilla vs. Kong, it kind of would be a change of character.
Well, we don't know what... See, but that's the thing. We don't know what happened in the last 40 years or so. 50 years. So that's a big thing. We don't know where his character ends up, Yes, he was a supporter, and then they brought him into the fold. But what if something in him snapped? Because, I mean, the speculation is that there is a connection between Kong Skull Island, within Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of Monsters. And I don't think it's because we're going to see King Kong, I think it's because there's a human character there.
If it does end up being James Conrad, it could be a thing where he thinks that Kong could be the only thing to kill Godzilla, and that's basically what brings his character forth, because he knows where Kong is. But if it follows the comics, it's Brooks.
That's right. That's right. Because his son
returns in the comics.
That's right. 1996. I remember that in the comics. You're right.
Yeah, he comes back, and his son comes back. Not his son, but his son goes to the island, and he goes to get his son to get Kong or something like that. But I don't know. I don't think it's James Conrad. Okay. I don't, because for how old he would have had to been, he wouldn't have. It just would be kind of a big exaggeration to what Charles Dance's character is in Godzilla 2.
Well, not really, because you think Tom Hiddleston is mid-30s?
He's like 36 when it takes place.
Okay, so then you jump 40 years, 76, that looks about right. Think about it like that. It looks about right, age-wise. He could definitely play that character.
Yeah, but I think Charles Dance, he's like not even that old, though.
Well, in that regard, then it's just all about suspension of disbelief, or suspension of belief.
Yeah, it could all totally be something about storytelling, but Charles Dance is 72 years old, so it's possible. I don't know, but. I don't know. I just find it hard to think that it's going to be James Conrad.
Gotcha.
Just because I don't see James Conrad becoming a bad guy,
Well, he was rather pissed that they put him in the holding cell at the end of Kong.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, he was not that he was a bad guy, but he is a mercenary. Regardless of how you look at it, he was a mercenary.
That's true, and I guess they could change him bad just for the storytelling element. But the thing is, it's like I want to just know what would have been the reason why he flipped coins.
And that right there, man, my brother, this is why I love you. And that right there is a way to introduce other kaiju by flashbacks. Flashbacks with him. Running with Monarch and then seeing things that Monarch does that he's like, nah, you can't be serious. And nothing, it doesn't have to do with Godzilla at all. Again, we could do, let's say, Manda as the Loch Ness Monster, right? Or hell, Gigan. You know what I mean? Something important.
Or think about this. What if it's a deal where he was running with Monarch, and Monarch's wanting to preserve the monsters and keep them safe, but he's seen them for what they are, and he wants to get rid of them because he doesn't think that it's right for Monarch to be doing what they're doing, and maybe he's evil in the sense that he's trying to take down Monarch.
I could see that, but that's different because he was trying to preserve Kong. So
and that's why I'm confused, because it's like, why would he be a supporter of Kong, but then now all of a sudden be against all other kaiju? So would that mean he'd be against Kong at the same time?
I don't think he's against the kaiju. You nailed it when you said he's against Monarch. It's a difference.
But remember that synopsis that came out said it's a conspiracy group trying to get rid of kaiju.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm like torn between both ways here, because it's like, what is going on? What's really the case?
Because something ate Brie Larson.
Yeah, and the thing is Brie Larson even going to return? I mean, if anyone if I wanted any character to return from Kong Skull Island, it would be Brie Larson.
Don't tell that to Miss Kaija. Don't tell that to Miss Kaija. She'll punch you in the face. Shout out to Lindsay. I love you.
I mean, I want Captain Marvel in the movie, I mean, I would like to see Samuel Jackson return as a pile of crushed bones, to be honest.
Could you imagine they go back to Skull Island and there he is, like, just laid out? That would be great. Oh, man. This is what I love. I love the speculation here, man. This is so much fun.
But I think if they do bring back a character, I think Mike Dougherty is basically saying Kong is the character they're bringing back. I honestly think that might be the case. I mean, I just, for one, I think, like, what's the point of bringing back a character from Kong Skull Island that was a human? I mean, other than James Conrad. And also, it's like, but let's just what's the point? Kong is more of a staple point, So that's my thing. I think if any character returns, it's just going to be Kong.
I got you. And I don't think we're not going to see Kong. I think they have to show Kong in this movie, whether it is at the end credits, because we have to see. Whoa! But what if it is James Conrad? And what if he does go back to Skull Island and sees Kong?
And there still is that chance that James Conrad's in the movie and it's not Charles Dance's character.
Right. That's true.
So who knows?
Well, you're right. But, you know what? It could be Brooks. Yeah,
I mean, I could maybe it's Brooks and Conrad.
Brooks' idea was really the thesis and the jump off point with the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah,
that's why John Goodman scooped him up. So, man, it's just. So you think Serizawa's dying? Seriously?
If Tom Hiddleston does come back for James Conrad's part, you think we would know that? I mean, that's kind of a character that's kind of hard to fly under a radar.
Right, and that's why I am speculating that it's Charles Dance.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a lot of sense. It
does.
it adds up.
I just personally don't like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if they do that, I want there to be a good reason, not
Right.
just something that's kind of half-assed.
What,
you know?
like Brie Larson being eaten by a kaiju? You don't think that'll make them snap? Kill all the kaiju! They ate my girlfriend.
That kind of would be funny, actually.
I mean, but you know how simplistic it is, though. It's like it's so simplistic. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's his motivation. He's mad. A monster ate his girlfriend. You know, like twice.
I just think if that's the case, like I wouldn't be able to watch Kong Skull Island the same ever again. You know.
Well, that wasn't his girlfriend then.
Well, I mean, like I'm talking about James Conrad as a character. It's like they made him specifically a hero type role.
Well,
and it'd be like I don't know.
Well,
I guess if you can watch Anakin turn into Darth Vader,
right? And that's the whole thing. Some of the best heroes that turn into villains, some of the best villains are people who think they're being heroic. You know, it's not like what was the group that I don't even remember the group in Biollante, right? That were like, we're holding Japan ransom. The guy, remember they were the American dudes? That was, oh God. It was like, the guy name was John Lee, and then the other dude's name was something. Remember? And then they were like, we're gonna hold Japan ransom. We have undetonated bombs, and we're gonna detonate them and release Godzilla from Mount Mahara if you don't, pay up.
You double cross me, mister.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like that, but that's still funny. I get what you're saying, though. I do get what you're saying. Time will tell, my friend.
I just think it's lazy writing, if anything.
No, but I don't think it is in that regard. I don't think it is. Because it's interesting. What made him switch? And then that will give us a great opportunity for a flashback sequence and a great opportunity to see more kaiju. If that's how they're going to do it, If they don't go full on destroy all monsters in this one, then Kong Skull Island, oh my God, Godzilla versus Kong is straight up destroy all monsters at the end.
Yeah, another thing they could do is they could, like, basically, let's say it's the end of Godzilla versus Kong, and it pans out on Charles Dance's character, just basically staring out into the vast world of destruction that he's seeing before him, and he's just getting flashbacks and flashbacks. And when he gets flashbacks, he sees these monsters, like, let's say Gigan pops up in a flashback. And when he sees, like, when the flashback pops on the screen, then there's another scene after that flashback where you see Gigan in present day doing something. And then there's, like, another flashback of another monster. And, like, they can do that way. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Can't lie. I like that. All I'm saying is, time will tell. We're almost there. Next Saturday, we should get a trailer, and I still don't like the idea of Shibuzawa dying. I'm going to be honest with you. It drives me up a wall. I don't want to see that happen. I like Ken Watanabe.
I want to know in the trailer, though, who's that one Asian lady that's hugging that character?
Yeah, she's probably
Serizawa's wife, or I think it's his wife.
Oh, that would be deep. That would be deep. And, oh, man, he's dead. Damn it! Because,
and I remember a while back, a couple of months ago, I mentioned to you, look at the picture that I sent you in the temple, and there's like this bomb explosion.
Right.
And before the explosion takes over, if you look, there's a little shadow.
I know.
And it looks like Godzilla in the temple.
Oh.
And remember in the trailer, there's Serizawa or someone in a suit, a radioactive suit, is walking up the temple steps.
They definitely think it definitely looks like Shibuzawa.
Yeah. So God.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Do you think that bomb was to kill Rodan or to release Rodan?
I don't think it has to do with Rodan at all. For one, would it be the temple? I think they press the. See, I don't know, because I mean, we got to think back. Is like what places? The only place we know of a temple is Mothra.
Right, but
the temple of the moth.
Right, but here's the deal. That temple, that whatever that was, that ancient looking city, that looked like it was inside of a volcano. That was like Aztec architecture. That looked like.
Yeah, you're right. It reminded me of Alien versus Predator.
Right. So Rodin's in Mexico.
Yeah. That makes sense, but so then maybe that silhouette in the temple that looks like Godzilla is just some sort of an illusion. It's not Godzilla.
You gotta send me that picture.
What I was thinking is Godzilla gets badly hurt or something, and they basically try to nuke him to give him energy, and he goes supersonic, and Serizawa detonates the bomb that way to basically help him, but I don't know.
I don't even think that's gonna happen. You know why? Because they tried to nuke Godzilla to kill him in the first movie, and again it wasn't near it. So they don't even know that by nuking Godzilla it's gonna help him. They were trying to kill him with a nuke. So I think that's the terrorist organization, and I think they're trying to release Rodan. So I think the synopsis might be misleading us on purpose.
It could be.
But again,
at this point, anything's possible.
Yeah, but again, we'll see in about 6 months, right?
Yeah, 6 months, or the trailer will spoil it.
Or 6 days, right? 6 months or 6 days, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, it's right around the corner. Oh, man. But listen, bro. Woo! That was a good talk, man.
And see, it's a great talk. And in the meantime, what's cool about that is I'm looking forward to all the merchandise leaks. I'm looking forward to the shirts. I'm looking forward to the toys. I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of stuff coming out for Godzilla. Yeah. So,
well, that's in the not so distant future. I'm looking forward to next week. How's that? Well, we're gonna be back next week, because if there is a trailer that's dropped, we're up in there. Even regardless, we're going to do a podcast next week just to see what the hell happened. Maybe we get some new images, and we'll talk about that.
Well, I'm sure we'll see something Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday?
Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays are usually the Godzilla days, I've noticed.
Oh, I'm talking about next Saturday when the...
Oh, I mean for like Monarch period. Monarch
gotcha.
Been posting stuff. If anything happens, they're not going to post anything, but then Friday they'll post, and then trailer will get some. On Saturday we'll get something.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll see y'all all next Saturday, because we believe there's a trailer. How much do we believe? What's the percentage, Chase?
99.9.9.9.9, and yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But anyway, yo, brother, thanks for joining me today, bro. I really appreciate it. It was a fun conversation.
As always, it's always fun talking about Godzilla.
And I thank y'all for listening. That is G73. I am G1. This is the Godzilla Block Party. We will see y'all next week. Peace.